But they're fraying. Almost everything you said is fraying. The press,
Fraying,
sure,
you're saying.
fraying.
Yeah, totally. And has been
And as I said,
for 20 years.
well, the press for 20
Nothing's going to stop you from being the free press.
Well, you really are a sunny person, aren't you?
Sunny.
Well, I'm very worried about the press, extremely worried about the press.
Not only for the technological reasons we're all worried about, and not only for the financial tectonic plates moving, but for some other reason. What one?
Well, for example, I once asked Donald Trump, why do you keep pounding on the press? This was right after he won in 2016. You know, it's kind of boring. You say the same thing over and over, and you won. You know, it's time to drop it. Why do you do it? And he said, I do it and I repeat it because the more I do that, the less people are going to believe you when you say negative things about me and whatever else.
Totally.
And it's happened. If you watch the opinion of us, how many people trust the press anymore? I mean, we're way down there with the lawyers.
Yeah.
This is really rough, as you know.
You're way down there with Congress.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we're way down there with Congress.
Why do you think Democrats lost, and what do you think needs to happen by the midterms and the next presidential election in order to find your footing again?
Well, Kristen, no disrespect to you. I think you do great work. But the reality is that those that tune in to traditional news sources, they absolutely went for us. And we know that the standards that you have to live by as an actual journalist are completely different from other platforms. And so we know that we were winning for those that were tuning into the traditional news sources. But when it came down to people getting their news from places that really aren't even news sources, they were going for Donald Trump by 19 points. And that is exactly why we lost. The reality is that we're going to have to play in spaces that we've never had to play and make sure that we're communicating in all ways. Unfortunately, we can't just rely on the mainstream media to get our message across.
Media, legacy media, traditional media, whatever you want to call it, they're realizing that they're falling. They're realizing, like, I found out, Charlie Kirk, shout out to him. CNN just lost in ratings to Food Network. Yes, you heard that right. The Food Network. People rather watch someone cook food. Steph Curry in the they rather see people cook literally than watch the news media. The news outlets are finished. In 7th place among all cable stations last week in prime time. This is CNN, by the way. It wasn't like it was a slow news cycle either. There was a murder of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, the manhunt for the killer, the drama surrounding President Trump's cabinet picks, Joe Biden's pardon of Hunter, and the shocking fall of Assad in Syria. This is devastating for the legacy cable news media because people are rejecting them and turning into resources like the Charlie Kirk Show, Bongino, Megyn Kelly, Joe Rogan, and War Room. They're coming to X for real-time breaking news, exactly, and we are living through a dramatic tectonic shift that will change the course of history. And you saw from the intro, I forgot the lady's name, but she was the one who did the 60 minutes with Donald Trump. And everyone remembers that scene vividly. Donald Trump mentioned the Hunter laptop story, and she goes, "Well, that's been proven. That's not credible. That's not credible. It wasn't credible, right?" Here's
this is 60 minutes.
Here's the clip.
This is
60 minutes. Let me play the clip, please.
60 minutes. And we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie.
And then they wonder why they don't trust people don't trust the media. She's shocked that, our trust
But they're fraying.
is at the bottom. It's with lawyers. And no one trusts lawyers, right? Here you go.
You keep pounding on the press. This was right after he won in 2016. You know, it's kind of boring. You say the same thing over and over, and
that should be a problem. There's no curiosity with the journalists. That's that's one thing that sticks with me. Is that you guys constantly play defense for the Democratic Party, and it's so blatant, especially when you already have a stigma. Journalists, in my view, have a stigma of having a liberal bias, And the fact that you covered, if you look at the rates of news coverages, the fact that you cover Harris 87% of the time positively and Donald Trump 87% of the time negatively, that's too much discrepancy. You guys are not objective. That is the narrative that is true about you. That's the perception, and that's the reality of you guys. That one, you're biased, and two, you're not neutral. You're not. So stop trying to pretend that you're objective. We're just calling the facts. You said the laptop story wasn't unproven claims and all this stuff. It don't matter. Where's your curiosity? Like, where's your curiosity? And we don't see that. We see that there's issues that they don't even want to touch. They don't even want to bring attention to. They only want to focus. Look at Trump's cabinet picks. I don't even know Biden's cabinet picks because they didn't cover Biden's cabinet picks the same way they covered Trump's. And then they're going to complain why Trump has so much pull. I remember I saw a stat before that people trust Trump more than they trust the mainstream media. And this shows the downfall of the legacy media.
You won. It's time to drop it. Why do you do it? And he said, I do it and I repeat it because the more I do that, the less people are going to believe you when you say negative things about me and whatever else.
Totally.
And it's happened.
But the funny part is not because Trump keeps bashing the mainstream media is why people trust Trump more than the mainstream media. It's the fact that the mainstream media do it to themselves. Y'all put out false things. Y'all put out things. Oh, the laptop story is Russia misinformation or Russia hoax or propaganda or whatever label you try to use people to discredit them. And then a couple years later, what Trump said was proven right. At the time, Trump's claim was unproven, but you were for sure said that it wasn't credible. So that means you made a claim that it was false without any evidence. So both of you made unproven claims. The media said the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russia, whatever. Trump said, no, that's actually his laptop. 2 years later, Trump was proven right. And that's what hurts your credibility, your track record, not the fact that Trump says all Trump did was bring attention to it.
If you watch the opinion of us, how many people trust the press anymore? I mean, we're way down there with the lawyers.
Yeah.
This is really rough, as you know.
You're way down there with Congress.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we're way down there with Congress, but we're way down there. And I despair. Seriously, I worry greatly. And I think there are other institutions that have been suffering. And you're right not to blame Donald Trump 100%, obviously. Started many years before. But we're at a point where if the President of the United States is going to say legacy media is dead. Well, I guess Musk said that. Legacy media is dead.
And he wants it dead. He wants other media.
But it is kind of, sort of hobbling right now. And I don't know how it recovers.
There's no path for it to recover, right? Digital media is here, right? Even Van Jones would admit it.
In the Philly suburbs. And I'm telling you, we are way off. The entire political class is way off. First of all, digital is a new door knocking. Mm-hmm. You got to understand that. We were laughing our butts off at Donald Trump for suspending his door knocking campaign and letting Charlie Kirk and Elon do a bunch of stuff online. Mm-hmm. We said, these guys are idiots. These guys are stupid. Then you start knocking on these doors. You know what people come to the door with? Their phone in their hand. They're in a 24-hour digital surround sound that has nothing to do with CNN, has nothing to do with any stuff that we do. I asked my son, I got a teenage son, I asked him, who are the most influential people in the world today? I'm thinking to myself, he's going to say Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z. He says, Kai Cent, Aiden Ross, Jinxie, and Sketch. I don't know who he's talking about. I said, what platforms are you on? He goes, I'm on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. I said, that sounds like you need to go to the hospital. What are these platforms? I'm telling you guys, the mainstream has become fringe, and the fringe has become mainstream. There are platforms, there are people out there that are getting 14 million streams, and we're on cable news getting 1 or 2 million. And so there is a whole world out there. Kellyanne Conway, I hate to agree with her, but I do a lot of times. Donald Trump understood that, and we didn't. And that's not just Democrats that don't. The entire political class is way off, way off, way off.
So Van Jones, he's realizing we're way off, way off, way off. And I think the reason why they're way off is that they're way off from reality. They put out this perception that Donald Trump is this, Donald Trump is Hitler, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. And all people had to do was look at Trump. Like, end of the day, they like to pretend that right wingers are radicalizing youth. They're spreading misinformation. How is I'm spreading misinformation by playing something that actually happened in reality? You said Donald Trump said X. I said he didn't say X. Show you a clip. You interpret what Donald Trump said as X. That's a you problem. The reality is Trump did not say X. Trump said he's going to be a dictator on day one. Okay, let me play the clip. Oh, he's joking. Oh, he's just making jokes. Only for one day, right? Oh, he said there's good people on both sides. Okay, let me see the clip. He didn't say that. He clarified to saying he didn't mean the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis. He clarified that. Why the media ain't play that? But when people come, they put Joe Biden stumbling and fumbling on the stairs. Obama has to help him up. Obama's not helping him up. My eyes are lying to me. I did not see him just, come on, Joe, let's go. Let's go, Joe. No, we didn't see that. Cheap fakes, huh? Cheap fakes. It took the debate where they could no longer spin it anymore. And I think that's what woke a lot of people up, that debate. I thought Joe Biden was as sharp as a tack. But they're calling us fake news. They're calling alternative media fake news. Alternative media been called it out long before CNN decided to even speak about it. By then, it was already too late. And I want to put this quote, maybe this is going to be a thing on my channel where I try to leave you off with a quote. It's from Thomas Sowell. Ours may become the first civilization destroyed, not by the power of our enemies, but by the ignorance of our teachers and the dangerous nonsense that they're teaching our children. In an age of artificial intelligence, they are creating artificial stupidity. And if you followed traditional media, right, like CNN, who can't even beat the Food Channel, you believed a lot of things that later on wasn't true. There's no way Donald Trump's going to win. No way Donald Trump's going to win, says the traditional media, alternative media, and who was right? CNN got egg on their face, right? Because Trump is more popular than he's ever been in his entire political career. Let's take a look real quick.
President, a majority of Americans, 54%, say they expect him to do a good job as president. And we asked specifically, do you have confidence in all of these areas about how Trump will...
Look across the board, majority confidence. But what was the CNN narrative? What was traditional media's narrative? Trump's incompetent. He's chaotic. He sows chaos and division in the country. He had a bad economy. He picking back off of Obama's success. Biden's economy is good. Remember these are the narratives that the mainstream CNN news networks were putting out. And they were wrong. Dead wrong. And it's baffling to me that these people, they have the confidence. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Even Joe Rogan, and I'm gonna end it off here, right? But here's a clip from Joe Rogan, pretty much encapsulating exactly how the legacy media shot itself in the foot.
It's not that he doesn't have faults. He most certainly has faults, but they all have faults. It's just they had control of the media and they turned him into something that he wasn't just 10 years ago to them. Very strange how it was done.
Yeah.
And we all were a victim of it. Everybody, you don't want to admit that he has any positive qualities, so you get labeled a Nazi.
Yeah, well, and why do you think that happened?
Well, because he is an outsider, and he is someone who did not come through the political system, so
he doesn't have the connections. He doesn't. But this is the argument that many people are having. The media pretends that they're doing something virtuous and good and moral by standing up against Trump, when all it is was personal interest, gain, tribalistic, like liberal bias. This is why we said the legacy media is biased. Journalism is the most liberal profession in the United States of America. Only 3.8% of journalists are Republicans. That means there's a lot of bias against Donald Trump. And they're acting in accordance to their bias, not in accordance to truth. And when I point this out, when a lot of alternative media people point this out, this was what led to the downfall of legacy media. Not Donald Trump pointing it out. When Trump said fake news, he just got more people to realize how fake a lot of journalists, a lot of these media pundits are. And that's the reality. I think this is why alternative media is winning, is that people want authenticity. Hey, I want to know where you actually stand, Kenny. I want to know your actual thoughts, not what some corporation wants you to say or what stories they want to highlight, don't want to highlight. I want to hear what you believe, what you like, what things you want to bring attention to. And I think this is why legacy media is falling apart, because no one trusts them. And they only have themselves to blame. I'll let the video play out and then I'll end it off.
And have all these relationships and all of these intertwined conflictions with corporations and all these different businesses that have paid for his campaign. The campaign's self-financed. And then you have someone who didn't play the game to get in there. And you can't have that. You can't have that. If you have that, and this guy who doesn't want wars, he doesn't want us giving money to foreign companies and foreign countries and propping up dictators, we can't have that. We need that. That's part of the American machine. That's how it all works.
The military-industrial complex.
It's real.
Yeah, it's been real for a long time.
I mean, when Eisenhower talked about it on television at the end of his term, it's kind of a crazy moment in history that was just broadcast on television and wasn't really revisited until YouTube came around.
Exactly. This is why alternative media wins, because we're willing to go back.
It's not that he doesn't have faults.
Like some people like my channel that, like, I have videos of like Thomas Sowell, Milton Friedman, right? Dinesh D'Souza when he was when he was working for Reagan. I have clips, I have videos of me reviewing stuff like that. And I talk about how if we go back in the past and see some of the claims that was made in the 1960s about DEI, about affirmative action, in 2024, that's enough time and evidence to make a verdict on these things. And I was like, yo, these things don't work. That's why they say people who don't know his history is doomed to repeat it. We're doomed to repeat dumb stuff, continue DEI when DEI don't work. And people still want to do it, like, for what? For power, conflict of interest. A lot of these anti-racist people are making millions. They making bank off of the guilt of people because of because of their skin color. And if you destroy that, if you say, oh, let's not judge people by the color of their skin, a lot of these anti-racist people, a lot of these DEI people, they'll lose a lot of power. They'll lose their money. They'll lose their grift. Legacy media, same thing. Oh, we can't have that. Pharmaceutical companies is responsible for almost 75% of your budget numbers? For your marketing ads? Is this why you defend the vaccine so heavily? Mainstream media? Conflict of interest? People point that out. Legacy media, they do the shuffle. Oh, we trust the experts. What kind of experts? There's experts that disagree with your stance. Why you don't trust those experts? Why you trust these experts? They don't got an answer for you. But they're telling you, oh, we just tell you the facts. No. You hide the facts as inconvenient to a narrative. And you use the facts to arrive at a preconceived conclusion that you already have. You use facts to validate your worldview instead of letting your worldview be letting the facts lead your worldview. You want the facts to follow your worldview. This is the propaganda that the mainstream liberal Democrat legacy media gets accused of. Democrats say something, media only follows the Democratic narrative of the things. I never see them approach a topic or an event from a neutral lens where they bring in both angles into the conversation, or they only follow exclusively one side, which is the Democrats, but never the Republicans. I never hear them take an opinion or something, a situation that happened, and they take it from a conservative lens, because many of these journalists aren't conservative. That's the reality. Only 3.4% of journalists are Republican. That means there's a lack of political representation. This is why a lot of these news networks are saying, yo, we need more parity. We need more conservative voices on our newsroom, on our news outlet, because they found out they alienated a large swath, actually the majority of American people. But as usual, they find out too late. And even as they get hit with the reality that they don't have as much sway as they used to, they still double down. And I wonder why. This is a perfect piece of wisdom that I'm gonna leave off on this channel. There's a reason why they say the pride goeth before the fall. And this is the mainstream media, the mainstream legacy media. Because alternative media is the mainstream media. That's why I get confused sometimes. Legacy media is dead. And they have themselves to blame. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you guys thought about the topic. Do you believe that mainstream media? How long? Here's my question: how long do you think mainstream media has before they become completely irrelevant? That they're already losing to the Food Channel. What, 5 more years, 10 more years? The fact that only the older demographics, like baby boomers, are the only real, large percentage of people who watch traditional media. Do you think legacy media will ever have a chance to, appeal itself to the younger crowd? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching the end video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.